All right, good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, January 9th, about 7:50 a.m. Of course, I've been up for a couple of hours because I have to use the bathroom in the middle of the morning, and then I start working on stuff. That's just how it is on days that I don't have to be up early in the morning to do work outside of home. So, the last vlog that I did, which is intermingled within all the other vlogs, um, I was starting to, and maybe I'll just start from the beginning because I have time to do it all today. I was going over some notes that I took on January 3rd, Sunday, January 3rd. I went to a women's group at a local church. It's an excellent series that they have right now that they've been doing since last month called Taming the Tongue. It's from a book called Taming the Tongue or something like that. And I'll go back over some of it because I'm sure y'all didn't watch the other video anyway. And I don't remember. I remember where I left off, but just to get back into the momentum of things. They were talking about doing a tongue fast. You know, your tongue can easily build people up or tear them down. And one of the verses that they mentioned was Ephesians 4:29. When I first did it, I didn't have the opportunity to go to it because I was pretty busy, but I am allowing myself some time to go to it now. So Ephesians 4:29, and I used to love the old King James version, but that no longer is in circulation. Hasn't been probably for a good 20 years now. Um, so Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." Wow, that's powerful. Let me read it again. "Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers." So let your words be pleasant and healing and pleasing to people's spirit. It says, "Do people feel better about themselves for spending time with you?" I have to say, honestly, right now, no. And it's a lot that goes behind it. And it's good that I'm redoing everything now because yesterday I had a lot of experiences. And those experiences revealed a lot about me and just a lot about me, you know, how easily malleable I am. And and I'm going to say there were some words that were said to me that were very negative probably about a week ago, that were not only negative but hurtful and probably intentionally so, and they did a good job. So good job, you did hurt my feelings. Not maybe not immediately, but it just took some while for it to seek in, because the kind of person that I am, especially for other people that know that they are loners as well and maybe may not have a good support system. Like I said, I do not have family. I do not have friends, which is not a negative thing. And I've never looked at it in a negative way, but in a way of understanding that those are not resources that I have readily available to me. So that means that I need to step up my game a lot higher in a lot of different aspects and areas. Now, what ended up happening again, that was never something that was negative to me, but those words and the spirit that it was issued to me based on personal experience that probably that person has had, regarding situations, if they found themselves in that situation, it kind of projected onto me. And so after a while, subconscious thinking again, and if you are alone, what people say and what people do towards you, if you don't have any other resources to negate that, it becomes manifested. It's like, because you take that in, you know what I'm saying? And at the time I didn't receive it, but as time wore on and I started to do other things and I wasn't able to address that because I was so busy. It became manifest. You know what I'm saying? Those Whatever that person said became true. It wasn't true previously, but it became true. Because again, subconsciously, even though I wasn't able to deal with it directly at the moment, while I was in process, after I got done of all of the things, in the back, just like on the computer, in the background, that was playing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be really careful what you expose yourself to. Sometimes you can't help it. Like that situation, I didn't mean to expose myself to that. I thought I was helping someone else, but I exposed myself to that negativity, and it imprinted itself on me, and it became true. It became true because I didn't have time to address it. You know, and that's the way life rolls. Sometimes you don't have. So again, that it says tongue fast, your words can really build people up or tear people down. Some people realize it and are just reckless with their words. Some people don't realize it and are reckless with their words. So, as for you and your household, try to control it, but also be aware that other people are reckless with the things they say out of their mouth. So again, Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace, grace to the hearers. And again, the question was, do people feel better about themselves after spending time with you? The answer to that, it wasn't always that way, but or maybe it was, but in a different way, but absolutely not. Let me tell you about, and again, like I said, it's good we're revisiting this because I had a lot of different experiences that can speak to this. So yesterday was the day off. I started to vlog about what happened, but I had a heck of a night on Thursday, and it bled over until Friday morning. But the kind of person I am, I don't like negative experiences, so I just try to quash it, and I'll tell y'all all about that in a minute. It was just circumstance, pop circumstance. But so what ended up happening was that I was going to go acquire some funds to make an exchange, cash a check. I realize that sounded convoluted and people may take that the wrong way. So usually I like to keep that personal, but that's what I went to go do. But God works in my life in mysterious ways. Like I was feeling, like I said, because I was so busy, I didn't have time to digest what that person was saying, that negativity. But yesterday, because I had the time off and because of everything that happened the night before, normally I would have kept running full speed ahead, working, this, that, and the other. But I had to slow down because there was something unexpected that happened, and I had to go do that, and that kind of turned my day into put my day on a whole different course. So yesterday when I got back from doing that, I was dead tired. I came back and I went to sleep for a couple of hours, or an hour, 2 hours, I don't know, not very long. For a couple of hours, went to sleep. And then, there was stuff that I still needed to do. So I got out and I went out to manage this one errand that I felt was important. And in the light of things, it was very important. So when I went out to do that, on the way of doing that, I saw a sign. And right now, like I said, my resources are low, and I have to, there's height. So I have to manage pretty well. So I saw this sign about where they were distributing goods or whatever. And so I was just thinking to myself, because on the way of me finishing doing my errand, I was like, okay, so once I get this funding, I have to set aside this amount for this. And then, I do need food. I only have like what, maybe if that 20 for food, and I was just like, I don't want to run through that. And then I was like, well, there's a little bit of freedom in it because now I can purchase other types of things. But then I was just like, well, I still don't need to do that because I've always try to keep some kind of canned goods and stuff like that at home. But then when I saw the sign, I was like, hey, I need to go get up on that. So I hopped off the bus, went over there, and I didn't realize how I was feeling. It's just like sometimes, like I said, when you're running full speed ahead, you don't have time to you don't have time to just get into your feelings, like they say. You know what I'm saying? Be all in your feelings and whatnot. So I didn't have time for that. But then because my course changed yesterday, I did have time. And when you have time, you're just like, wow, the words that this person put on me affected me so negatively. And I didn't even realize it until, again, I had a moment to think about it. Because if y'all don't know, the past few days, not yesterday, because like I said, that's when I've been going full speed ahead. I haven't had literally a minute. I've been out by myself, but I haven't had a minute to myself. I mean, I was busy the whole time, just back to back from you know, I get the bare minimum, the little 7 hours of sleep that you need. That's exactly what I would get, and it wouldn't all be at one time. It would be broken. So anyhow, so I get off and I go to this place. As I'm standing in line and I'm looking, I'm seeing all these people that, they probably look like me, if not on the outside, on the inside. You've been through some things, and there was, I'm just going to tell, there was so much stuff that happened, but I'm going to tell you the parts that stuck out. There was a lady that came out, and she was a real skinny young lady. Probably, she didn't look, she doesn't look white, but she was probably white Spanish. And when she came out, she was looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at me. And I'm looking at her, and I've always been this way. I hate people just looking at you for no reason, like looking at you, not out of love, but just, you know what I'm saying? And then when you look at them, they're not looking like anything that you want to look at. So it's just like, move your eyeballs on, But I'm just like, okay, whatever. People can look, because I like to look at people too, but I don't, I try not to be rude. So she's just looking at me. I'm looking at her. And the way she's looking at me, I guess it's like she wants to reach out to me or whatever. But I'm looking at her like, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, so I guess she sees that I'm not being welcoming to her with my eyeballs. And so she comes over, and there's a bunch of people that are behind me. And the people that are behind me, she says, and she intentionally, because you never know who people are, but I'm just like, if you're looking at me, say something, you know, say something, or I'm giving up on you. But so she goes to the people behind me, and she's like, oh, and I guess she's looking at me because she was wondering if this is my first time here, whatever. And she was like, have you guys been here before? And they were just like, no. And so then she was just so inappropriate. Have you guys been here before? No. And then she walks off, and one person follows her, and they don't know whether to follow her or not, because she didn't say, come go with me if this is your first time, which is all that was needed. She made it a point to go to the people behind me and say, have you been here before? And then I guess one person that had common sense followed her, and then everybody else followed, and then not everybody, because some of us still didn't catch on. And I'm just like, if she didn't talk to me, she intentionally skipped over me. But I went anyway, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm not standing here for nothing. And so when I went, and then the other guy decided to follow too. And so she went to fill out the forms. She gave everyone the forms. The forms are only in Spanish, okay? And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, I can read Spanish. All these people are stumbling around saying, oh, I can't read Spanish, whatever. I'm just like, well, they're going to ask for your name and your address. You can figure that out, But she gives the people that couldn't speak it first. And then I guess to make herself feel important, because she's translating. And then, I didn't get a form. So I'm standing there just waiting. Like, eventually she's going to ask. And so she doesn't ask, and she's intentionally doing this. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, because I'm just going to speak. And you got to forgive. And I'm going to try not to speak the way that I've learned to speak, being around all these different types of people. But I've learned it now. So it's easy for me to say it that way. But it's just like, to say it the way colloquially, like what the system unfortunately has exposed me to these types of people would be, she had her panties all tied up in a wad because she looked at me and I didn't look at her in a way that, showed that I wanted or needed, her presence. You know what I'm saying? And so from that point on, she was just showing that, she didn't have to serve me or serve anyone, or making sure that I didn't have any information intentionally. What an idiot. Okay, let me see if I can find a better way to say that. Basically, with what the situation was that she was just excluding me intentionally. And she was excluding me intentionally, perhaps because she felt that, I didn't make a connection based on, the way she was connecting with me visually. So anyhow, so I just was like, okay, fine. So I asked another lady, I said, would you happen to have another one of those forms? And she was like, yeah, and I was like, Spanish is fine. So I took it, I completed the form, and then I'm staying there for the longest time. And then she's noticing, I guess, nothing else is going on. So the other lady comes over to me, a black woman, and not black American, but black, well, there was one black American. Yeah, she did. She came over and she was just like, um, did you sign the clipboard? This is after like 10 minutes. And I was like, no. And then she was getting upset at herself, because she was like, you know what, if you hadn't signed, because she was mad because she could see what the lady was doing. She was like, you would have been standing here forever if you didn't sign the clipboard, and nobody told me to sign nothing about a clipboard. So I went out, and nobody else was going to call me. So that black lady was the one that called me, because she was going to make it so that I wasn't going to get called. So she called me. I got what I needed to get. And I was like, how often can I do this? Can I do this every week? Can I do this once a month? And the Haitian black lady was like, you do it once a week, because they saw the woman was being nasty. So moving right along, to get to the point of my part of it, was when the lady came down back with the form. I thought I had done something wrong. And, again, because I was feeling negative about myself because of what this girl had said, the person that lives here, like a week ago or whatever. And I hadn't had time to digest it because I've been so busy. And so I was like, oh, what did I do wrong this time? And she was like, no, what did you do? She said, no, you did something right. And I was like, wow, how positive is that? Because it showed how negative I was feeling based on what that girl said. I didn't know it had affected me that much, but it did. And it showed up again time and time again yesterday, because yesterday was the first day that I've had time to actually slow down and think, because I've been so busy. So my time is up here, and I'm going to tell more about it in the next segment.